in this section, I want to talk to you about reporting. Now, what we've got, reporting is really, really important to organizations. And what Moodle does, it reports well, but it reports well when it comes to individual courses and the activities within each of those courses. So, for example, if I was a teacher and I wanted to know how my students did in the quiz that they took, that would be fine. I would go into the course, I would go into the quiz, and I'd click on reports. The same maybe if I wanted to see what they did with the SCORM package or the like. But when it comes to, especially with, as we find here at eCreators with enterprise customers, they don't want to just know about how did a user do on one quiz. They want to know how users are doing across the entire site. How are the staff going within their organization, or the learners even, within their entire site? And this is the one place where we felt there was a gap that really needed filling. So we built this Learnbook custom report builder that you can actually now tailor to get site-wide reports out of. So what this is effectively doing, so I'll just go back to my homepage so I can show you where you access this from. So from our homepage, we go, or wherever, or anywhere in the site, using the left-hand menu bar, we'll go to the administration section and expand that. We'll go down to Learnbook reports, about halfway down the list there, and it brings us into the report. So that's how you access it. Now what this is using, and what we do here, is on the left-hand side we have filters. And this is basically customizing the data that is then going to be displayed to us down the bottom, which will be the reported data in the table there. So what we can do is we can either report, and we have full flexibility over this, so we can report just at an entire user level, or maybe under teams here, I might want to report on my cohorts or my teams that I have within my site. So for this demo, I'm just going to show you, I've only got some just sample data in here, so I'm just going to show you all users, but I can pick that, I do have the flexibility. And once I've picked whether I'm going to use, the user limit that I'm going to be reporting on, I can then choose which courses that I would like to be looking at as well. So these particular users who have taken a particular course within my site. And I can even break it down further to then look at activities within the courses as well. So I could sample the data based off a certain cohort of users that have completed a certain activity and only look at just that. Or I could open it up wider and just say, well, this cohort of users, I want to see how they've gone with a particular course and filter it by that. So you have a lot of flexibility. We also set up, or have the ability to set up a custom date range. So I can say that I want to view it just off this month, last month, just on today's data, or maybe a custom range. So maybe I want to see how they went with a quiz activity this month, but I don't want to see last month's attempts at it. So I'm just filtering off that. I can check a status, so maybe looking at only people who haven't completed the activity, which then means I can action that and follow it up with them after that. And I also have the ability to set a heap of conditions down the bottom here, or what we call rules as well. So by clicking add a rule and then using the drop down here, I can then filter this report by any of these other rules as well. So maybe if I picked email, I could say I want to see everybody with a certain domain name, for example. So I want to see everybody from a certain domain. Maybe it might be based off an ID number, or maybe it's based off a course name. So you can bring in additional rules into this report as well, which will increase what you can filter by and make what you're reporting on even more specific. Now we have checkboxes here as well, so skipping active users and also to include course grades. So that's been included also. And once we're finished, what we're going to do is we click Run Report. So what will happen is the page will refresh, and you'll see down here that we now have all our data populated. So in this particular report, I'm getting ID number, name, course, activity, a grade, and a status and date graded. And I think I've got one here that has a status. Yep, so there's somebody there who has completed, because I'm filtering off everybody there. So it provides us with this information, really, really nice and easy, really good and easy to see, really easy to filter by, and actually pump out that information. Now we do have the ability to expand the options that are also within this, so we can't change this report for every single report, but we can add other columns to be filtered on as well. So for example, if you wanted email to be included in this, please reach out, get in touch with us, and we could definitely show you how you could actually have, email or other fields, maybe it's a custom profile field or something like that, included in the data that's reported as well. So you'll get that in each report that you run. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you on the right-hand side is obviously once you run a report like this, that's all very good, but you need to be able to get that data back out into the system. So how am I going to get that out? Where's it going to go? Now we have this thing here where it says saved reports, and this is actually giving us the ability to give the report a name. So I might say this is my first report. I can choose to set up email addresses to this report for this report to be emailed out. So I can actually say that, my first report, I need to send this to somebody. So, so it might be, Christian at eCreators. So that report would get emailed to Christian. And I also have the ability to schedule this report also. So if I particularly like what I've set up here with the filters, I can then say, well, every single Monday, send me this report. So for example, every single Monday, I might get a report about all the users in the system who have achieved, who have completed a certain activity. And I'm going to get that. So if I was to say, all right, so let me say every Monday, and I'll then schedule that report, that will actually now generate this report. And you'll see here that my first report is now scheduled Monday. It's processing. Once that's completed, so you'll see that it says the report has been scheduled and will be emailed to you shortly. You then have that, and that will then process out. So not only is it helping you to report and get better information out of your system, but it's also taking the need for you to have to keep coming back in here and generating the report all the time. It's taking that sort of laborious task away from you and giving you a lot more flexibility. You can come back in here at any time if you want, and you can edit this or delete this report as well. So if you no longer need the report, you have flexibility to do that. So really just trying to really improve the way that reporting is done within Learnbook and give you that data that you do actually require.